Hello everyone, welcome to my very small YouTube channel about knitting. My name is Isabelle, I have 3 sons and I have 3 cats. Some have said it's related. And I'm filming these videos in English because I used to live in the United States, but that was over 30 years ago and I miss my English and I want to practice talking in English about once a week, filming these videos. So today it's going to be an episode about my Woolly News series, what I've seen, what has caught my attention since I last filmed one. And so as a disclaimer, I'm not a journalist. So this is just my own take on things I've seen that have been of my interest and that maybe of yours. So if that sounds good to you, please stay tuned. So before we dive into the Woolly News goodness, what am I wearing? Some of my oldest knits, some of them are older than that, but this very little cropped cardigan with no button and a companion small scarf, I knit almost right after I came back from the United States, so that was in 1991. Okay, so with the mohair from the farm in the Pyrenees that I discovered that year, it was in 1991. So no pattern, I knit that flat and sewn the pieces together because I did not know how to knit or that people could knit in the round at the time. With the remaining of the mohair, I did the little scarf so that I could use all of it. And I'm thinking I'm gonna be going back to the Pyrenees either during Easter time, if I can take my mother with me, if she's okay to travel, or this summer. And I want to have some of that dark plum, dark burgundy colorway once again. And I think I will use the not brushed mohair, and that my baby cat is asking to go out, so I'm gonna stop here and then either convince him to stay in and stop scratching at the window or letting him out, but he's gonna be back in 3 seconds, all scared because you know the outside is a bit scary place. So I decided to let him out. I will have to interrupt again very soon because you know how he is. So what do we have on the Woolly News menu today? So that's number 26 since I've started the series. We're going to be talking about patterns, 1 pet 4, and usually I highlight also 1 free pattern because not everyone has money to spend on very expensive books, yarn, patterns. But today there are going to be 2 of them. I usually highlight 1 of each, 1 pet 4, 1 free, but you'll see why today I will have to. In the other usual sections, tutorials and trends, I have no news to talk about. I haven't seen anything really that was worth reporting, but I have news about yarn companies and stores about yarn, and some other news about book and magazines, and an event, of course. You've all heard about that and you've seen all the reports that were all over your timelines, whichever ones you are following. And if you are not interested into my last section, which is who am I or whom am I knitting with, you will be more than welcome to stop there because I usually leave the non-woolly stuff and non-yarny stuff and non-knitting stuff at the end of the video. So if you just want to skip that, you are more than welcome to do so. So what I've been watching while knitting and which music I've been listening to mostly during that period. Okay, so we are going to go first in the patterns sections of this series today. So the first pattern I want to be talking about today is a fairly recent one. Let me see, because I have it here. Yeah, it was published in February, on this February 2023 on Ravelry. It's the Aurora Cabin Sweater by Stephen West. Stephen West doesn't need anyone to be pushing his designs and his patterns around. He doesn't need me, most probably. But why was I intrigued and interested into this pattern? For two things. It's a yoke color work. It's always a pleasant type of sweater to knit, at least to me, because there is sometimes a more mindful 3 minutes. I had told you. I'll be back in just a second. He's totally unable to be alone outside, and I'm waiting for better weather so that the window can stay open and he can go in and out and sit in the window, in the opening of the window, smelling the fresh air, but still be inside and being able to come back inside if anything happens. So he's coming with me maybe. So the Aurora Cabin Sweater by Stephen West, a yoke colorwork sweater. I like to have a part with more mindful knitting, so that I need to concentrate and work on something, either cable, stitch pattern, or color work. And I also like when the sweater has relaxed and easy parts of knitting. So a yoke sweater suits that to me. So why the Aurora Cabin? First, it's because he said, and I haven't checked the pattern because I haven't bought it, that it was working one color at a time. You can see and have a look at all the samples and the sweaters that other people have knit and posted pictures on Ravelry with very beautiful colors. If I remember correctly, he said there were 5 colors in that sweater. And even though the overall look of the color work looks very intricate and complicated, he said it was only working one color at a time. It's always a good thing when you have an impressive design that is mostly easy to make. So I don't think it's that difficult to make. I'm not sure it's totally for total beginner. I'm not sure what if he says anything about the level. Sorry, he jumped on his places. I will write it down if I find it again. If he said anything about the level so he talks about the yarn. No, he doesn't say. But usually his designs do not involve, most of the time, sometimes it involves complicated techniques, but most of the times his designs are not difficult to knit. Sometimes it is very long and that makes it difficult, but it's not technical difficulty. Sometimes some of his designs are for more advanced knitters, but most of the time the average knitter can knit anything Stephen West has published. And an impressive yoke that looks easy to make, and he says it's easy to make. I'm all for it. So okay, next we are going to be talking about 2 free patterns. First one, I had it in my queue to talk about for quite some time now, because it's been published in last December 2022. It's a free design by Teti Lutzak. She released it to thank her community. She's an Ukrainian designer. She's living in Denmark, if my memory serves me correctly. If it's not the case, I'm gonna correct that on the video once I edit it. And she released the tiny pom-pom hat. And it's a very cute hat. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Maybe she's made it available from her website too, I think so. And yeah, she says it's a Christmas gift to the knitting community. And it's a very cute hat. It's a ribbed hat, and you can. She has a very nice way to make a little pom pom, that very tight and small pom pom on top of this ribbed hat that has a brim, one layered, I think, brim. And she's offered it in that gray color that I like a lot. And yeah, it's a very cute and nice design. And some of us are still in winter, hoping for spring, which is not coming right now here in France, but hoping, or at least in Normandy, in the northern part of France. Some of us are still in summer, but you are going to be moving into winter time. So maybe you are still thinking about knitting hats, and this one is a very cute and very nice one that is offered by Teti Lutzak for free. And once you've had a look at her hat, maybe have a look at her other designs, because she used to be a biologist in the, I think she was working in the plant and vegetables or vegetable field, and most of her designs are inspired by the vegetable world. Very, very nice and light and delicate color work on her yokes of her sweaters when she does that. Very light and fluffy blouses and scarves and shawls that are, very, very light and delicate. So once you are having a look at her free pattern for this hat, maybe you can have a look at her other patterns. So my next free pattern is going to be even a bundle of 2 patterns. You've seen me knit that one already, and I have one that you haven't seen yet. It's today the Sunday Shrug by Jackie Rose, who's the famous half of Caddy Jack's Knit podcast or YouTube channel here on YouTube. And she's released, so the first pattern was for chunky or Aran weight yarn. I adapted it because I had lighter yarn, so I changed the number of stitches. I played with the depth of the stripes on the shrug. And she's released the Sunday Shrug that is designed for super bulky. So she's made it with 1 Aran and 1 bulky yarn. Of course, she works with the Lamb & Kid that her and Caitlin really love this store and what they produce and what they sell in the United States. But for people who are not in the United States, you can use any type of yarn you can find locally, of course. And I love these. I did not want to wear today. I was wearing before I used my little cardigan, but I did not want to show you my second Saturday Shrug before I talk about it next week in my regular knitting adventures videos. So yeah, today a second free pattern by Jackie Rose, the Sunday Shrug, and you have the Saturday Shrug if you prefer a lighter weight yarn. So same as for the hat, we are still in winter time, most of us, still in cold weather for most of us also. And for the other ones who are enjoying summertime, you will be going into winter time at some point. So maybe you are interested into knitting some of these warmer pieces. Okay, next, news about yarn stores. And because they have released newer yarn that are really right up to my alley. And of course, these yarn stores are in Europe, but you have them also in other continents. So you have similar yarns. So I'm sure you can find them. And some of them also have stock lists and local yarn shops that, sell them where you are. So have a look over there. The first one is about Bichebuche. Everyone knows about Bichebuche. I'm sure they are distributed worldwide, and there are many local yarn shops that have them or their yarn. And so they just released a new yarn for sock. And this is Le Sock yarn, yes, and it's 20% nylon and 80% worsted spun wool, which is a bit more sturdy than the usually or the regular woolen spun lines. And I do not need socks. You've seen that. Why? There is no particular reason. I'm interested in so many other things. I don't have time to concentrate on knitting socks. I know how to knit them. I don't. But this yarn is a very several strands of yarn that are twisted and together to give this kind of marled effect that I liked a lot. I discovered it with the Little Red Mitten production. I'm sure there have been many other yarn producers who've done that before, but this is when I discovered it. And my son Theo brought me from his science conference in Wales last summer some of the merino yarn, and what I liked, it was looking the same way. So several threads of yarn that are spun together, several colors spun together, and when you knit it, it gives you a very beautiful marled effect, either high contrast or low contrast, depending on the colors that have been spun together. So that's the way their collection is, their sock yarn collection is. And there is, of course, the usual, if I can push my notifications away, the usual colors. I have them here somewhere. Yes, the usual colors that are, gray, white, black, and blue, and earthy colors. And there is one that is a multicolored one that is really, really funny. And this is not for a sock, but maybe for a sweater, or maybe for a shawl or something else. I think it's a very fun line to be knitting with, and they went out of stock quite quickly after they released it. So some of the and it's the same for the next wool I'm going to be talking about, the next yarn I'm going to be talking about. Some of them have been restocked. So you have to watch around, and maybe your local yarn shop has have them, so and they can offer them to you. And the second type of yarn, so I'm on a yarn no buy, so I won't be buying this yarn or the next one I'm going to be talking about before I knit all that I have in my own stash, or if I visit a place that carries this type of yarn, and I'm sure I won't, so in the near future at least. So the next type of yarn I'm very interested in is the unspun yarn. So there is a whole hype about Nutiden. The way they make their yarn available is I'm not sure how to say that. It's not quite up my alley. Let's say it that way. You have to subscribe to their group, their Patreon, and so that you are informed about their releases, and then once you have paid them to know what they are releasing, you can pay them to buy the yarn. I'm not quite comfortable with that type of distribution. Of course, it's a rare yarn. Of course, it's a family working. Of course, they do the way they want. Good for them. But organizing people fear of missing out, I'm not sure I am very comfortable with that. So, but I've been watching a lot of videos, and I've been following people who knit a lot with unspun yarn and knitted yarn, and yeah, it's very appealing to me, the colors they use that are low contrast in a color work. It's really appealing to me. It's a very good idea. It's a very good niche type of knitting and distribution. Yeah. So when Making Stories came up with distributing some unspun yarn from Spain, I was very, very interested, because so knitted it's in Europe, but the distribution type of way is a bit complicated to me. Making Story, they have an online shop. Of course, I'm not buying online, but they have an online shop, and they are distributing Manche Lopis, which is an unspun yarn from Spain. They made their store, they made it available, and in a few days, they say less than 12 hours, everything was gone, because people are looking for that. And I'm sure it's the whole hype around the knitted yarn, which is most probably hyped for a good reason. It's the sweaters and shawls, that mostly sweaters and shawls, but you have mittens and capes and other things that are made with a knitted yarn is beautiful, very, very beautiful. And so many people want to knit with that type of yarn. It's organized to be a very, very small production. Okay, so people miss out and, queue up and are in line to buy that type of yarn as soon as it's available. So when Making Stories made it available with a normal distribution, people, I'm sure, went right away and bought everything. So as I'm looking at their web store right now, you can have most of the colors except one, which you can have the lavender colorway that either you can pre-order, I'm not sure, or you can be on a waiting list. It says notify me when this product is available. All the other colorways that are very similar to other unspun yarn, you can see soft grays, soft browns, a soft type of green leaf, soft leaf type of green, and how do they call it, because the name escapes me right now. How do they verde, so that's the word for green in Spanish, but a very soft green. The name will come back to me. Soft blues, soft pinks, a bit, a violet that is a bit, the lavender that is a bit stronger color, and a rusty color that is a bit stronger. And yes, I will be, for these two type of yarns, the Bichebuche Le Soc and the Manche Lopis from Making Story. Making Stories, they are both on my wish list once, and if I can go back to buying yarn online. Okay, next books. From Line Magazine, however you say it. First, they are issuing a second volume for the famous 52 Weeks of series, so a second volume for 52 Weeks of Socks. I just said I'm not knitting socks. I don't have the first one. I have the 52 Weeks of Shawls and 52 Weeks of Easy Knits. And I think there is another one that escapes me right now. Yeah, I know many people here knit socks. And you may be interested into these very different and very fun patterns. And what they say is a colorful and abundant collection of patterns from a diverse group of international designers, using a variety of different techniques and yarns. I like that. And the book will be for both beginners and advanced knitters. So more colors, different type of yarns. This is all that I like. And yeah, I'm sure that you may be very interested into that one if you are a sock knitter. The next book, I've talked about it in my previous Yarn by Year episode, but you may not be interested into that. La Bien-Aimée and Laine Publishing, of course, are issuing a new book. And even if you're not listening, watching my other episodes, I'm sure you know about that, about neons and neutrals. I pre-ordered it the day it was possible to pre-order. And it will be available, I'm not quite sure, I recall, sometime at the beginning of March that it will start shipping. And there has been a lot of, a whole series of new posts due to the next event I'm going to be talking about, showing people wearing these designs from this Neons and Neutrals book from La Bien-Aimée. And what I really liked about this book is the idea of using different type of yarns in the same designs, and in the same design or in the same pattern. This is something I wanted to be doing for quite some time now, but I never came around doing it. And the other thing is that if neons is not your colorway range, you may use the pattern to knit with your own colors that you like. That's the beauty of knitting, and you can do whatever you want. So and I think it's going to be a very inspirational book, once again, for myself, even if I do not knit much from these books. I've been, making an effort once I finish something, trying to not to default to my online library, but go into my books and knit from my books, which I have done. You will see that next time. I'm teasing you, hint, hint. So yeah, two books that I'm sure are going to be a huge success. Each of them is going to be a huge success. So next, of course, this event, which is Vogue Knitting Live, which is happening in New York. You can't have missed it if you have a subscription or if you have a timeline with social media, and if you watch YouTube, if you are on Instagram, you can't have missed that. And I like when people report about these events the same way for other events that are happening elsewhere, where YouTubers, that people who make videos on YouTube gather, and they are together, they make videos about what's happening, they make lives or videos on Instagram. And I like seeing people gather together, talk about these events where they are together and what's happening. And I've been watching a lot of these little videos or reports and pictures, mostly on Instagram. I should have a look on Mastodon if people have posted there. I have an account, but I don't have the reflex to go there. I'm sure people have been talking about there too. And yeah, I like to see happy people gathering, even if life and the environment is not happy for everyone. So yeah, so please keep on doing that when you go to the New York Festival, Ship and Wool Festival, to Rhinebeck, to Vogue. I like when people report on, or anywhere else in the world. Of course, these festivals are the ones who gather the most people, so they are the most report on. But when people, there are some English knitters that I follow on Instagram and on YouTube. Whenever there is a festival next to them, and that I'm a sucker for that type of the videos, and they go to the different booth, or in Canada, they go to the different booth and talk to people. I like that. I like that very much. So what I liked in Vogue Knitting Live was what people had to say about it, and which type of video, souvenir video, they were bringing back with them. So I'm going to move now to my Who Am I Knitting With part of the video. So if you are not interested into that, I hope you could find some kind of useful information in previously, and I thank you very much for watching my videos. Please do the usual YouTube goodness, the thumbs up, the comments, the sharing and everything, and I thank you very much for that, and I hope I will see you next time. Okay, not knitting with per se, I just wanted to, I hope I can have a footage of the video, otherwise I will link it down below. It's on Instagram, you can find it, and I went to their website yesterday, this morning. I could not find the video there, so it's on Board Panda. It's I follow them. I used to follow them a long time ago with RSS links and feeds in my feed, RSS feed readers. Anyway, they posted a video on Instagram, and I'll try to capture the footage to show it on the video right now, and if I could not, I'll link it down below, of someone who made a cake. So you have amazing cakes. Some people make just amazing cakes that looks like a knitted patchwork, and when you see the video, the way they put either the cream or the sugar that is colored, cream or sugar, I'm not sure, maybe both. It looks like stitches and color work and stitch patterns. It's just amazing. So I thought it was really entertaining, and maybe you haven't seen it, and maybe it would be worth for you to have a look. And so who am I knitting with as far as videos and series? When I finished the Supernatural series, I was kind like of an orphan. It was done. I do not want to watch it again, not right now. And I have been looking around for series that I would enjoy while I am knitting during the evening. There are two of them that are fairly recent, that I've been watching all the episodes that are available to me in France. The first one is The Last of Us. The Last of Us is from a video game. I've seen that people were not that happy with that series, but I've not been playing the video game, so I do not know anything about it. If you are sensitive to the COVID situation in the world, don't watch it. It's about another type of pandemic, and in a post-apocalyptic world after the pandemic has destroyed most of the world and most of the people, and the way people who are resistant to this pandemic organize themselves. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. It's not much more than that. You can watch it. It's not bad. It's not bad. But it's not that deep. And I'm not hooked the way I was hooked with Supernatural. The second series that I think it's a bit more up my alley and up my style is God Omens. It's not funny, but it's funny to me. It's an angel and a demon that are on the process to go and move towards and be part of the apocalypse and the end of the world on Earth. But they find out they kind of like it here. So I'm not very far, but they kind of team up in a way to prevent the apocalypse and remain with us on this world. So I thought the idea was interesting. The way it's filmed and the way the narration is a bit less interesting to me than the way the pitch sounds like, but it's entertaining. It's not bad. It's like The Last of Us. It's not a bad series. You can watch it. You will have a good time. At least if you know all the things around religion and God and angels do not bother you too much, but they do not bother me. And I like Supernatural quite much. So this is why I watched this one. And I'm not that kind of interested, but not. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. The one I'm watching right now from beginning to start, and it was a very old, it's an old series that started in 2005. It's The Office. I knew about that series because my eldest son, Samuel, was watching it at some point and said it was very interesting. And what he had to say about it did not interest me at all. My last son watched it, and we were casually talking about what we were watching, and he said that he liked it. It's very funny. It's very acid at some times. It's a criticism of this type of company and work environment that is perfect. And I do agree. It is very entertaining. Sometimes it's very dark. The characters are, you feel attached to them. You feel hooked with them. And this is what I liked with Supernatural. I kind of was hooked to the two brothers. And with The Office, I kind of am hooked with the characters that they have chosen and the way they behave and what happens to them. Sometimes it's a bit borderline. It's not really, you can't believe what happens. But most of the time it's extremely interesting. It's a good show. Some people are ugly, but they are so ugly that they are funny. No, I'm having a good time watching The Office. So I'm not sure which kind of season I'm in right now. I think I'm in the third season right now. Let me see. Watch again. It says watch again episode 25. So I guess I've started, or I will be starting season 4. Next, and there are 8 seasons, so quite a few episodes to be watching, and it's a good one. I highly recommend it. Sometimes it's a bit dark and harsh, but most of the time it's just extremely funny, even if most it's extremely funny if you look at the second and maybe sometimes the third level of the story. And as I was looking for a series to be watching at night, and I was poking around and I watched a few things I did not like, I've been listening to a lot of music, even more than I'm used to, because you may already know I love listening to music, and I listen to music most of the time during the day when I can. Of course, not when I'm working or when I'm with other people for work. So what I've been listening to a lot, not exclusively, but a lot, and it's been cycling, and I'm totally unable to pronounce the name. I can, because I'm unable to pronounce it, because the first time around I've pronounced it wrongly in my head, and I can't detach me from that bad pronunciation. It's Krueng Bin. Krueng Bin, so this is the first CD that my son Paulin bought me for, I do not recall, either Mother's Day a couple of years ago or my birthday or something. And he discovered it. It's a very soft band, very soft music. I have the meaning of Krueng Bin somewhere in some of my tabs. It's a Thai word that means plane, I think. Airplane, from a Thai word. I'm not sure why they chose the Thai word, but their music is very soft, very warm. It gives me a warm and peaceful feel, especially when I need it the most. So this is the one my son gave me. I'm not sure how you are called. The universe smiles upon us. How right can that be for me to be liking what they are making? The universe smiles upon me. And so after he bought me this one, I bought a few other ones. Late Night Tales, these are the ones that I listen to online in my online music application. And as I've already told, I buy all the CDs that I like, because I'm not married to to Apple Music. So if I ever decide to move on to some other online application, I don't want to be losing all my library. So Late Night Tales, Texas Sun. Oh, I did not say they are from Texas. 3 of them. Texas Sun, Con todo el mundo, and this one is with Mordechai. I love them both, and Texas Moon. And yeah, it's a soft environment, a soft electronica environment, world music. Please have. The one I listened to the first time around was this one, The Universe Smiles Upon Us. I think it's their first CD, and if you like it, you will be listening to the other ones. There are a couple ones I liked less, but yeah, please have a listen to them, because they are bringing smile onto me. And yeah, I hope that Krueng Bin will be bringing smiles to your face, and I hope you will be able to, once you've listened to this episode, have a smile on your face, because joy and happiness. I'm distracted because my lazy cat is coming home. Joy and happiness is not coming all by itself, so you have to actively work on that to place joy and happiness into your life. And when I say that, I'm talking to you, but I'm also a lot talking to me. And yeah, I hope you are able to find pieces and sparks of joy and light into your life, even when the environment is very dark. And yeah, I thank you a lot for being here. I thank you a lot for watching these videos, for talking with me in the comments, because yeah, you do bring joy and happiness to me when you do that. And yeah, I will see you next time.